Hi guys, it's Budget Bunny here, and today's video is going to be all about the supplies you need when you're planning on getting a rabbit. So one of the first and most important things that you're going to need is something to keep your rabbit in. The cages that are sold at pet stores are not large enough for your rabbit, and they are also very expensive. So the House Rabbit Society does recommend that you use a minimum cage space of an X pen, which is the size of Ollie and Willow's cage here. And what we've done with this X pen is actually add some levels in so that they can maximize space. Ideally, you want your cage to at least have enough room for your rabbit to hop across the floor 3 times, that it has some kind of second level so that their back legs stay nice and toned and strong from being able to go up and down the levels, and that there is enough room for them to stand up comfortably on their hind legs. An alternative to expensive pet store housing is building your own rabbit condo designed to the space and size that you have available. We built Rocky and Honey's cage out of storage cube grids, which can be found at many department and hardware stores. They allow you to customize your cage, building to your requirements in size and height. A rabbit's diet consists of unlimited hay, a small amount of pellets given daily, and fresh vegetables. When you're choosing your pellets, avoid rabbit food that is a mixture of pellets, seeds, and other treats. These added bits are actually junk food that can cause health problems, including obesity in your rabbit. You'll also want to read the nutritional information on the back of the bag, ensuring the pellets have at least 18% crude fiber in them and are 5% or lower in their fat content. Some great brands to choose from include This Original Rabbit Food by Martin Mills, as well as Oxbow and Supreme Select. Your rabbit needs unlimited hay. Timothy hay is the most popular type of hay, but you can also mix it up by giving them meadow or orchard or oat hay on a regular basis. Make sure to read the packaging though. Some meadow hay can contain alfalfa in it, which isn't good to give adult rabbits. Only baby or pregnant or nursing rabbits should be given alfalfa hay, as it's high in calcium and protein and lower in fiber, and it can cause sludge or other health problems in your rabbit. When looking at your hay, make sure that it's a nice green color, that it smells fresh, and isn't dusty or moldy. This is by Dunley Farms. It's called a tidy feeder, and it's actually made of edible cardboard, safe for your pet, and it has a little hole down in the bottom that your hay can come out of for your rabbit to eat, and it just secures onto your cage with these heavy-duty twist ties. If you buy your hay in larger quantities, you're going to need a hay rack. A hay rack affixes to the side of your cage and allows your rabbit access to its hay without being able to soil it. The pet store has several options for hay racks, but I found these don't hold enough hay and can be fairly expensive. Some alternatives I found work are using a bent storage cube grid, and this is actually an under-the-shelf organizer I picked up at the dollar store, and then I just attached a piece of wood onto the back of the organizer with zip ties so the hay couldn't fall out, and now they have the perfect hay rack. You're also going to need something to put their food, veggies, and water in. Some people opt to use a water bottle, but I prefer a water dish. These dishes were actually from the dollar store, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on them, but you do want to make sure that they have a nice weight to them, are sturdy, aren't going to be flipped or tipped over easily, and it's also good because they do consume a lot of water in a day for it to be a slightly larger dish. Most rabbits can be litter trained, and many take to it naturally. It does mean that you'll have a cleaner cage and less mess to clean up, as it's concentrated in one area. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a litter box. You can get corner litter boxes from the pet store, but I find these are much too small and expensive for your animal. Instead, try checking out your local dollar store where I found this cat litter box, or you can even use containers such as a Rubbermaid container, which is what we have in our cages. They were about $4 each at Walmart and are 2 feet by 1 feet. I use KT Granule Blend litter in their litter boxes, and I mix that with shredded natural paper like newspaper or untreated um, scrap paper that's around the house. This litter is absolutely amazing though. It smells so nice and fresh. It's got a nice lavender scent, and it does actually have lavender petals in it, which are fully edible and safe for your animal. So my rabbit's favorite things to do when I change their litter is to dig through it, find the petals, and eat them. All rabbit houses need to have a hidey house. Rabbits are prey animals and can easily be scared or feel threatened. A hidey house provides them with a safe place they can go to hide or sleep. Try to pick a hidey house that has 2 entrances so your rabbit feels it has an entrance and an exit in case of danger. This willow tent allows your rabbit some security, but also is open at both ends. Igloos and wooden hidey houses from the pet store are okay if your rabbit is used to its surroundings, but even the largest storehouses aren't usually big enough to fit your rabbit. Again, you don't need to spend a lot of money on this. As you can see, the cardboard hidey house I've made for Willow is the perfect safe place for her. I've even lined the bottom with a small pet bed for added comfort, and as you can see, it certainly kept her busy. She's enlarged the doorway significantly from when I first cut it out of the box. If you plan on a solid floor for the bottom of your cage, as mine are, I would recommend adding in something like this comfy pillow and blanket to create a nice cozy bed. Both of these items I picked up at the dollar store. Your rabbit's teeth never stop growing. To help keep them in check, you'll want to provide them with lots of items to chew on. This will also help to prevent them from chewing on unwanted things like the bars of their cage. Many pet stores will offer a variety of wooden chews, including the straw carrot chew and the wooden fruit chews. Most rabbits love any kind of willow toys, which are fun to play with but are also fully edible. Pine cones and fresh apple sticks are also a favorite. Just make sure they weren't treated with pesticides or contaminated in any way. Rabbits love to play. To prevent boredom, make sure they always have access to a variety of toys and switch it up on a regular basis. Rabbits love to chew and toss things, and many seem to love the sound of bells. Some great options for rabbits include baby toys such as rattles, cat toys such as these jingly balls, and a variety of homemade toys. I made this activity mat using a grass mat and some toys I knew they'd love. Items like tunnels remind a rabbit of their natural burrows. Toilet paper rolls are great for nibbling and tossing around, as are these homemade rattles and lids. For more great do-it-yourself toys, make sure to visit my website, BudgetBunny.ca. You may also want to consider buying a veggie ball or one of these carrot racks. Rabbits shouldn't have carrots too often, so you can also use the rack for large vegetable leaves such as those from romaine lettuce. A veggie ball hangs from the ceiling of your cage, and a carrot rack can clip onto the side of your cage. Both provide a spot for you to put their fresh vegetables, but also give your animal a challenge to keep them entertained while they are eating. Your rabbit is going to require regular grooming. Depending on the length of your rabbit's hair, you may be looking at something as simple as a small pet or doll brush for very short-haired rabbits, or for longer-haired rabbits or rabbits that are shedding, you may prefer a cat brush. I've also included a flea brush here in case you need to check for fleas at any time. Your rabbit's nails will need to be trimmed every 3 weeks or so, depending on how quickly they grow. I prefer to use a pair of good quality toenail clippers, but if you can find a decent pair of small animal clippers, as I've included on the right here, those are also ideal for your rabbit's nails. Plan on doing daily spot checks of your cage and doing a large clean once a week. You don't have to spend a lot on cleaners that are safe for your small animal. Something as simple as a mixture of 1 part vinegar, 2 parts water will work just fine. That's what I use to clean all of our cages, and all I've done is bought an empty water bottle from the dollar store and filled it with the solution. Rabbits require a minimum of 3 hours of daily free-range time. There are many dangers to your rabbit while they romp around your house. They love to chew, so you'll want to make sure any cords or wires have been covered or blocked off accordingly. You may also want to protect carpeted areas by laying down blankets or activity mats so they don't ingest any of the fibers. Even better is if you can find an area of the house that is free of most dangers and confine them to this area during their playtime. I use gates I've made out of storage cubes to block off areas I don't want my rabbits to access, like under our bed, and baby gates to completely block off a room of the house. If this is your first time owning a rabbit, I do recommend that you do your research thoroughly. Rabbits aren't the right pet for everyone, and if you do decide on going with a rabbit, you want to make sure that you're well informed so that you're giving your rabbit the best possible life. My favorite rabbit book is still Rabbits for Dummies by Audrey Pavea. Not only does it cover the basics of rabbit care, but it also has a great section on emergency situations, how to react, and what the symptoms and signs usually mean. When it comes to your rabbit's health, you can never be over-prepared. And finally, you're going to want something to bring your rabbit home in. This travel carrier is ideal. It's the perfect size for my rabbits, and it has a spring-loading front lock on it, so it makes it easy for me to open, but pretty impossible for my rabbits to get out of there. Any pet supply store is going to have travel carriers. You're just going to want to look into which one's going to best suit your needs. Even if it seems unnecessary now, I would suggest picking up a travel carrier while you're thinking about it, instead of waiting until emergency situation calls for one. You're also going to want to look into finding a veterinarian who specializes in rabbits, because many of them aren't. Do your research now, find someone that you're comfortable with, and that way, if an emergency situation comes up, you'll know exactly who to call. You'll also want to find out this information anyways, so you can arrange your rabbit to be spayed or neutered when the time comes. Finally, depending on how you want your rabbit to live, you may be looking at bedding. I don't personally use bedding, so that's why I left it out of this video, but I don't recommend any wood type bedding, as the aromatic oils in those, such as pine, can cause severe health problems in your rabbits. If you're going to use bedding, I would recommend something like Carefresh, which is a ground paper pulp. It's scent-free, soft, and perfectly harmless. Bedding can get expensive though, so that's why I recommend solid flooring in a litter box like my setup. I hope this video has been helpful. Make sure to check out BudgetBunny.ca, because I do have a blog on keeping your costs down when first buying your bunny supplies, and I'll also include a downloadable checklist of all the items I've featured in this video on my blog for anyone who's interested. Thanks, bye!